What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Yami Noob. Today we're going to be looking at the differences and comparing and contrasting the Husqvarna Svartpilen 401 and the Vitpilen 401. Now, today's video is going to be a little bit different because I'm actually bringing in an expert on this subject, and it's our editor, Andrew. He actually owned a Svartpilen 401. He spent time with this Svartpilen, and now he has his own Vitpilen. So I'm going to throw it over to him, and he's going to tell you more about it.
It's the bike so nice, I bought it twice, and I'm gonna tell you why, but don't worry, I'm not gonna rhyme. Today, I'm gonna go over the 2020 Vitpilen 401 that I just bought a couple weeks ago, and how it differs from the Svartpilen 401 that we're giving away on YamiNoob.com. Stay tuned. So you're probably wondering, why the hell am I standing in the middle of a gravel parking lot right now and when I'm in beautiful Washington? But the reason for that is I actually already filmed everything that I'm about to say, but the audio, for some reason, decided not to work. I mean, look at this footage. This is some beautiful footage. There's a mountain behind me. It's beautiful, it's green. I mean, look at this. This is gravel. I'm in a gravel parking lot right now. But I'm gonna make it work, because that's what this bike is built for. It's built for the urban, commuter, rugged, hooligan-looking bike you can take anywhere, and I'm about to talk about that a little bit more. So I could stand here all day and go over all the specs and the looks and all the figures for how great this bike is, or I could take it on a ride and just tell you about it. And I think I'm gonna do that instead.
What is going on, everybody? This is Andrew aka Yam or Anti-Yam, whatever you want to call me, whatever kind of moniker I can be for a doppelganger YamiNoob. But today I am talking about how the Vitpilen differs from the Svartpilen and why I bought this bike twice. Now, the Vitpilen, as you can see right now, doesn't look like a Vitpilen because I did a handlebar swap on it. Now, my reasoning for that was because A, my friend who I sold my old Svartpilen to was so nearby, and he actually wanted the clip-ons that this bike came with, and I actually wanted his handlebars that his bike came with. So it was an equal trade. We just swapped them real quick. The only thing was the Svartpilen, the handlebars had a pullback rate that was just a little too much for the cables on this Vitpilen. So I actually had to buy a third-party bar that was just kind of more of a straight bar versus more of one with a rise that the Svartpilen has. Kind of less of like a flat tracker and more of just like a normal straight across bar. Now, my whole journey between the BMW and the Pilens, I mean, I had the Svartpilen. My friend wanted to buy it from me. I sold it to him. I got the BMW because I wanted more of an adventure bike. I had that for a bit. You saw that in some videos we shot in Big Bend. My thing was, you know, and I know we'll go into it in another video, I'm sure someday, but BMWs don't really have a soul. They're kind of notorious for just doing what they're supposed to, for just kind of being a cold machine that gets the job done, gets you out into nature or wherever you want to go, and you know, you get out there, you ride, and then you go home. The Pilens, with their power to weight ratio, I mean, it has 43 horsepower, it has 27 foot-pounds of torque, it weighs 335 pounds, 373 cc. All of those factors added together, I mean, they're just numbers, and really, when you're riding a motorcycle, you shouldn't care about specs. You know, obviously, Papa Yam on his race days has to worry about specs a little bit more, but ultimately, it comes down to fun factor. And for me, this bike is just enough fun for both it and the BMW combined. It's what a motorcycle is supposed to be. It's what riding is all about. It's about finding a motorcycle that speaks to you, that has a soul, and that keeps you coming back to it. I mean, literally, I had to buy this bike twice because I loved it so much. So, all of that aside, what are the differences between the Vitpilen and the Svartpilen for any of those who might be interested? The biggest thing, and the way that they market them, the Svartpilen, they try to make it a little bit more off-road capable. It has the Pirelli Scorpions on there. It has a little bit more front-facing, front-forward foot pegs so that you're a little bit more in an upright position in combination with the swept-back handlebars. And I remember that pretty fondly from when I had the Svartpilen. You know, that's great riding style if that's your normal riding style. If you don't like being bent over, if you don't like getting cramped wrists or a kink in your neck or, you know, going long distances, I'd say the Vitpilen is for you. It's an urban commuter. It's an urban hooligan bike. It literally has a button that changes it to supermoto mode. And whether that's for fuel mapping or ABS, I'm not sure, but it literally just says supermoto, and that should be enough for anybody that wants to get a little crazy with this bike. And it feels like an extra 20% of torque when I turn it on. So the Svartpilen, being an off-road vehicle, it's, man, I don't know. I mean, I know I'm going to get a lot of comments about this, but I personally am under the impression that any bike can go off-road if you push it hard enough and if you're not really worried about what the outcome's going to be. That being said, the Svartpilen, the original, the 2018, before they rerouted the exhaust and added the extra cat and everything, had enough ground clearance to be taken off-road on some lighter trails or gravel roads. You have all the factors of the tires, you have the knobbies, you have WP suspension. I mean, and the 2020 models have adjustable suspension on top of all of that too. There is a group, I believe they're in China, and from their videos that I've seen on YouTube, where it's just a group of Svartpilen 401 owners who just take these bikes off-road and thrash the crap out of them. They will ride them on single track, they'll ride them on through creeks, and just boulders. They'll push these bikes to their full potential, but it kind of reveals the bike's full potential. It shows that these bikes are capable of being taken off-road. And considering the fact that literally everything except the handlebars, the foot pegs, and some design factors between the Svart and the Vitpilen is the exact same, you could take both bikes off-road if you both suited them up for it. So, I mean, my plan long-term is to put knobbies on this thing, whether that's the Pirellis or something else. It's to... I mean, the suspension is already adjustable. There's not much I can do to upgrade that. Maybe upgrade the brakes on top of it. I don't know. And then if there is a possibility of rerouting the exhaust to give myself a little bit more ground clearance, I'll probably do that as well. But, I mean, I don't know. This thing, the engine, the feel of it, the seat height, the feedback, everything about it says dirt bike, in my opinion. Everything about it says supermoto. It says supermoto. It literally says supermoto. I don't know what other signs you need from this thing to tell you that it wants to be taken off-road. It wants to be thrashed a little bit. It wants to be treated like a hooligan bike, whether that's in the city or on the dirt. So the Pilen series as a whole is great. I mean, it just really depends what you're looking for between the two bikes. And they did a good job, I think, Husqvarna, of making these bikes equal enough to where you can get either one of them, like I did, and be happy with it. And in the long run, if you want to change something about it to make it more like the other model, all you have to do is literally change the handlebars and maybe the foot pegs if you're unhappy with how they already are. But beyond that, you're essentially riding the same bike. Now, the reason I would lean more towards the Svartpilen is if you're looking more for specs, and that means more about the handlebars and the ergonomics and things like that. If you're looking more for aesthetics and looks, I mean, I kind of have to admit that I've gotten more compliments on my Vitpilen so far, just with this nice silver and bronze paint job it has. It's a little bit more flashy, catches your eye a little bit more, and the 2020 models with their new, I think it's a daytime running LED headlight, it's the perfect blend of futuristic and modern with a nod to the past old cafe bikes. Whoever you are, whatever kind of riding you do, this bike is going to get attention. It's going to get looks, it's going to get noticed, it's going to get comments and questions, because I can't even count the amount of times I've had people from the ages of 60 to the ages of 20 come up to me and ask, what bike is that? Oh, I didn't know Husqvarna made that. That's really cool, man. And I can go on and on about everything that I told you guys too. I mean, the power, the weight, the factors of why I keep it on the back of my van, and it's the perfect bike to roll on and off on that kind of situation. This video, I guess, it kind of did turn into me just kind of bragging about how amazing this bike is. But again, when you buy a bike twice, the exact same model, there's probably a reason for that. And though I'm obviously biased, I think this bike is perfectly balanced between those who want to be doing urban commuting, maybe a little bit of off-road, and just want a nice entry-level, smaller starter bike that has enough power to grow into, but not enough to where they're scared to ride it. This thing is the perfect bike. That is 100% not biased. That is 100% fact. You can trust me. I have all the experience in the world. I mean, technically you really can't trust me because this is my, I don't know, 9th motorcycle that I've owned in the past 3 years, so clearly I can't make my mind up until I decide to come back to the same bike I've already owned, and I will probably end up staying with this one. But that about wraps that up for me. Feel free to leave comments if you have any questions about any more differences we noticed between the Svart and the Vit. I can obviously cater to both sides of it since I've owned both bikes, but it really isn't that much of a difference. I mean, again, just depends on what kind of style you're looking for, mostly aesthetically, because again, they're both primed and ready for any kind of riding style you want to use them for.
So when it comes down to Husqvarna's new Svart and Vitpilen models, they've had it for the last 3 years, and there's a little comparison between the two, but honestly, So when comparing the Vitpilen versus the Svartpilen, there's a goddamn car.
White van behind us now.
What the are they doing? Just right in the middle of the shot, just completely bombing it.
Got it?
No, it's good. Leave it rolling. I want all of this, yeah.
Hey, you adorable little squid. Thanks for watching the video. Why don't you click on this one right here and keep watching? Don't worry, I'll wait. Just like this.